Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, November 3rd. It is 6:23 right now. We got market opening up in about 7 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes. If you guys saw the post under the premium under algo, we have a lot of entries for today compared to like Friday. So there's a pretty good amount of entries here that have showed up. A lot of good target entries, of course. So we'll kind of see what happens here once market opens up. Obviously, we have the 629 candle. I think the opening candle is always going to be on the list. It's not necessarily the best trade, but it's always going to be on the list. Obviously, I'm not looking to take that specific entry. Um, the first one that I'm probably going to look at is going to be at 632. So. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be pretty focused when the entries start coming up because they come up pretty quickly. We have one at 632, 39, 42, 46, 54, pretty much back to back to back. We do have news today, so we have news at 6:45. High impact is S&P Global Manufacturing PMI inflation news. As you guys know, this is NFP week, so we'll kind of see how that ends up coming out later. So morning Alad, morning Mendez, morning everybody. Good morning, guys. Today is Monday, November 3rd. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend and a happy Halloween. It is Monday, so we're kicking off a brand new month, guys. Pretty excited to kick off this month because we already have one full month of data for the algo. So we applied the algo basically every day for October. Pretty great month for October. We're now entering November, so it's a brand new month. So I'm excited to see how this year ends up playing through for this month and for next month, of course. Also, the uh, the Tradeify trading cup started today. I don't know how we're gonna be able to fare well against all of them. So I'm looking over here at the leaderboard. A lot of these guys are kind of just YOLOing trades, as you guys can see. Like the trading cup just started, and these guys are up 20,000 already, right? This is pretty crazy for them to be at this high, and the market hasn't even officially opened for the week. So a lot of these guys are obviously YOLOing their accounts, trying to get on this leaderboard. So I will be trading in the trading cup. The only thing with this trading cup though is that a lot of people are kind of YOLOing because so the thing that I don't like about the trading cup is that they're offering three resets. It's kind of dumb because it's like, why would you give someone a reset for the trading cup? It kind of takes away from there being like real trading. It's kind of like who can gamble and get the biggest profit by like letting trades run for extended periods. So, I don't think it's going to be a good competition, honestly. I'll still trade in it. We'll see if we could last. But the thing with the trading cup is that it's all about who can gamble and get lucky, right? Because the thing is, our strategy is more of a consistent strategy. And like basically everyone's trying to go really hard for the first couple weeks. Um, and like for us, we're meant to be, long-term traders, not necessarily just get lucky for a week or get lucky with one trade, actually. Um, and try to win this. So we'll follow it. I'll trade my account with the trading cup, but I don't think we're going to be able to really to keep up with a lot of these guys because these guys are. I mean, obviously, if you look at the list, that's crazy, guys. 20,000 profit pre-market, like it's unreal, right? It's unreal for someone to make that much and to stay consistent for that long. What I see a lot of people what I can see people doing is they're probably gonna like YOLO the account, take one big trade, get a bunch of profit, and then just kind of hold on to that account for until the competition's over, right? Like for example, there's a contract limit for two contracts, and if I'm taking a couple of trades, in order for me to make 20,000, like you just gotta like do the math. It's just impossible. 20,000 divided by 400. Um, I mean, I guess it's not that, I don't know, it's 2,000, 20,000 divided by 400. I basically have to win 50 trades back to back to back for me to even get on the top leaderboard right here. So, yeah, as much as I was kind of excited to run the algo on the leader on the trading cup, I don't think we're going to be able to keep up because there's a contract limit size. If we could take bigger contracts, different story, but it's just not really possible. Anyways, guys, we got market opening up shortly in a few moments. Morning, Brock. Yeah, iPhone said they have broken rules as they traded 5 micros, so they're getting canceled was an announcement. How they make money to be fair. Yeah, the rules are a little strict. They're capping it at two contracts. I don't know how they're able to make 20K with two contracts. Pretty crazy. But yeah, guys, we got market opening up shortly. If you guys are looking to take the breakout on open right here, it's going to be looking like it's going to be a sell. But we'll see what happens here when the market opens up. So looking over here at the overall trend, guys, overall trend for the day is currently looks somewhat bullish. The 1 minute's bullish, price is above the pivots, trend meter's green, pivots are angling up. 5 minute here price was bearish, but it shifted to bullish. 15 minute here is neutral, price is in between the pivots. 30 minutes neutral, 1 hour is neutral, and the 4 hour is bullish. So we have a bullish neutral overall bias with regard to trend. Looking over here at market structure is currently bullish right now. You can see down here on the 1 minute bullish, 5 bullish, 15 bullish, 4 hour bullish, 30 minutes bearish, and the 1 hour is neutral. So it's more of a bullish neutral bias with regard to overall, market structure. So with that being the case right there, um, we'll probably be looking for some possible buys today. Anyways, here is the entry for today. If you guys are looking to take the breakout at 629, 629 looks like it's going to be a sell for anybody who's looking to take it. So we'll kind of see what happens here. Yeah, exactly. iPhone said for the resets. Yeah, so if you violate the account for the Tradeify Cup, you can just reset it. I think the resets are dumb. I think if they're gonna have a competition, there should be no resets. Yeah, it's like a $35 reset or something like that for someone to, shield the account. But all right, guys, looks like market's going to open shortly in a few moments. And market is now open. So the breakout is a sell, it looks like right there. It is coming down. So if you guys are looking to take the sell right there, it was against momentum. Yeah, sell position right there. So there you go, guys. If you guys took the sell entry right there for the breakout, it was against momentum. So right there, a sell straight down to the floor. Damn, this thing dropped a whole bunch. So we kind of expected this to happen, obviously, obvious reasons. Because of the market open for the new month. So it's first of the new month. There's a couple of things here to pay attention to, right? It's the first of the month. It's NFP week. We're expecting a lot of manipulation. There's always manipulation on Monday. This is why I typically don't like to enter trades right away. If you guys looked at my stats for the month last month, I didn't really trade on Monday. I'll show you real quick. Yeah, so there goes a trade right there. Hit 80 points. You guys can see right there, the short position was taken right there. But yeah, if you look at my stats, I don't really trade on Mondays very often. I mean, sometimes I do, but like once out of the entire month, I basically traded on Monday. This doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to trade today. I'm obviously going to keep looking for entries here. So this is the first entry right here. I think I'm going to hold off. I don't think I'm going to chase this, guys, because price is obviously, it's overextended at this point. So I was thinking about getting into this 730 or 632 position right here, my first target entry, but it is, I mean, it's a bit of a mess here, obviously. So I'm gonna wait for here to market to stabilize a little bit before I start looking for anything. But the first entry for today right here is obviously going to be a sell. The 629 inch right there hit full TP for 40 points. So the first one right there hit already. And there's a lot of entries just kind of coming up back to back over here as price continues to, obviously move along. Yeah, Masij said already TP on market open. Great start. TP at 60. Nice. Justice caught that as well on open. Nice work, Justice. I know. iPhone did the math. 16,000 traders, three resets times 35. Crazy return for Tradeify. Smart business. Exactly. It's nuts, right? Jonathan's asking, Sean, what contract size are you using for the regular Tradeify account? It's capped at 2 contracts, so or no, regular accounts. Um, um, Let me check. I think I'm using 8 contracts for the regular accounts. Yeah. 8 contracts. All right, so this is the first entry here that I was looking to take, guys, right here at 632. Unfortunately, I skipped out on it because, I mean, obviously, you guys can see how crazy market's moving right now. The trade's currently running in profit. This is the 632 entry that I was looking at right here. So if you guys took it, it's currently running in profit. It looks like it's going to hit. It's looking pretty nice so far. It's just market here is super, super crazy on open. So obviously, I decided not to get into that one. But the trade is running right there at 642 or 632, actually. So 632, it's currently running. I'm holding off on that entry because obviously you guys can see the craziness here for market open. I might have to wait a little bit longer today because we do have news at 6:45 as well. So we got high impact news coming up at 6:45. Typically, we don't have news, right, because of the government shutdown. But today it looks like there is actual news at 6:45. I don't know if this is going to be released, delayed, etc., whatever it may be. But we'll kind of see what happens when market gets closer to that point. However, the 632 position here is currently running. Looks like it's going to hit target, but it's a little bit choppy right now, of course. As we continue to wait here, I'm going to go ahead and mark up market structure real quick so that we can kind of have an idea of like what the market's looking like with regard to structure. Obviously, I'm not using technicals at all, but we will use this here to identify any possible confluences in the direction of our trade. So we got let's see, let me zoom out from here. So I have a resistance from up here, it looks like, or no, it's a little too far off. Where is it? Actually, it's not too bad. All right, so we have resistance up here. All right, so looks like that 632 position hit full TP already, guys. That's what I wanted to take. So right there, full TP on that 632 position. I wanted to take it, but like I said, the market here is kind of jumpy on open, so I decided not to take it. But it did play out. So for today, we're 2 out of 2 right now. 629 target entry, full TP. 632 target entry, full TP as well. And the next one is going to be at 6:39. So we got a couple minutes until then, but both of the entries which we had for target entries today did hit full TP already. So this is algo entries for today. 629 win plus 2R. 6:32 AM win plus 2R. Again, these trades are a little risky, so it's, if you want to take them at your own risk. Um, Obviously, I'm not going to take anything at too risky because I got a lot on the line here. I'm trading like 40 accounts now, so or not 40 accounts. I'm trading like 80 accounts almost. So I'm not going to take anything that's too risky. I'm taking the stuff that I know for sure is going to play through, and we're not going to get some like funny business with them. Because slippage is a big thing. If you're trading this many accounts, there's going to be slippage. So I got to stick to the stuff that's not going to be manipulated. So, anyways, 2 entries for today so far, 629, 632. Let me finish marking up the structure here. So we got this right here. This is going to be a pretty big imbalance. All right, let's see. This is a support turn resistance. It's like basically breaking retesting that area. And then this as well. All right, so this is the market structure that I have marked up here so far. We had resistance up here, a big imbalance here, price broken, retested. We got price dumping right here. This is going to be a problem. So Yeah, I don't know. As much as I want to enter this position right here, there's a position coming up at 639. I was hoping to get into one of these right here. The problem is that price is overextended, right? This thing is dumped pretty heavily and it's starting to slow down a little bit. So I'm kind of worried to get into this position here. What I wanted to see here is I wanted price to kind of retrace up a little bit and then come back down. So we have some space here. See, the problem is I don't know when price is going to shift back up, like, you know, flip from this area. So again, I might have to sit out on the 639 position because you can see the wicks right here, right? The wicks are pretty big. And again, my stop loss is going to be pretty tight. So if it does retrace up a little bit, I mean, there's a big chance that I might get stopped out of the position here. I'll mark it up for you guys. So we'll see what happens here as price continues to drop lower. The 642 position is going to be for or 639 is going to be for a sell. So this here could line up. It's just, you guys can see the wicks here. This thing is starting to lose its traction. So it's starting to swing back up. So if you guys want to take this 642 position, again, like I said, I can't take risky positions because I'm trading so many accounts that I can't really, if I get caught in slippage, it's going to screw up my position here. So if you guys want to take this here, 642, or sorry, 639, this has a 60% probability of it winning for a 1 to 2, has a 75% probability for sells. It looks like a good trade. I mean, this is the one that I was actually looking for. It won 3 out of the 3 recent entries. Again, the only problem here is you see the volatility here starting to slow down and there's like big wicks on the bottom, right? So this is a really, really tricky entry um, to be jumping into right now because this thing is already pushed down how many points, from this high point. Not a crazy amount, but it's pushed down a bit where it's ready to possibly retrace a little bit. So this candle is about to close in about 5 seconds. I wouldn't even like this candle right here the way it's looking, so I wouldn't have taken this. But if you guys want to take this for a sell, this is an entry right here for a sell on 639. So 639 right there, it's currently running. Like I said, it looks like here it's starting to lose its steam. This is why I was kind of worried to get into this position because it's starting to slow down and it looks like price here might retrace up, but it is looking good now. It's coming right back down. Looks like price flattened out and now it's just coming back down even lower. So if you guys are in that position, it's easier to take these on a prop account. For me, I'm trading like 50 live accounts, so this is like live funds here. It's just a little tricky to be kind of going against the grain here if price is ready to kind of retrace back a little bit. Of course, I wouldn't want to fade my own position because obviously I'd be looking for a sell here. I just don't like that the volatility here is just it's a little too high for me at the moment, or not even the volatility, but obviously you guys can see it's very spiky with these candles right here. If I didn't see a lot of these wicks down below, I probably would have jumped into it, but it's looking good. And it looks like it's about to hit right now. Yeah, all these positions here played out pretty nicely. So this is the third one. I'm just going to call it a win. It's about to hit right now anyways. So 639. Yeah, a lot of back-to-back wins there. I was really excited to get into these positions, but now the market's actually open, it's kind of it's tricky. It's really tricky here. For those of you with the prop account, that's great. You guys can take these and not really have much risk. But trading live accounts is different. See, I'm worried because if there's any retracement, this could easily just stop me out. I'm waiting for the market here to kind of slow down a little bit. The next entry is going to be at 642. Which is going to be this next candle, which is going to be kind of tough because this one's going to fade it for a buy. I might have to wait until 7 o'clock for my entries again, which sucks, but it is what it is. We got news coming up at 6:45, guys. A little tricky time right now. All right, full TP right there. I already called it before it hit. Damn, a lot of good entries today. I'm just not willing to take this risk right now. I always hate Mondays. I hate Mondays and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays are usually very, very risky, but the trades are hitting. Yeah, we got news coming up right here at 6:45. So there's another entry right here at 6:42. It's probably not going to come up because you need a buy signal for it. It's with momentum. So 3 back-to-back wins right here for the algo guys. 629, 632, 639. There's one right here at 642, but this is not going to come up. This entry at 642 has a 53.33 probability of it hitting. It is a target entry for a buy, 80% probability. So because it's a buy right here, there's no buy signal. So there's not going to be an entry for 642. The next one's going to be at 646. 646 is going to be a sell. Only problem with 646 is that it's going to be right after news. We have news right here at 645. Again, I don't know if this is going to be delayed or if it's actually going to come out because of the government shutdown, but we'll see what happens. Again, this is NFP week, guys, so you got to keep this in mind. This is supposed to be a tricky week with regard to manipulation, volatility, etc. So three back-to-back wins there so far with regard to the algo. Nice. Nice entry so far. All right, so we got news coming up shortly, so there's not going to be an entry coming up. ARK is asking, oh, one second, guys. All right, my bad, guys. Had to sneeze for a second there. ARK's asking why was the breakout a sell? It was a sell because it was against momentum. So with it being against momentum right here at 629, it was a sell entry. If it was with momentum, it would have been a buy entry because we had a buy momentum here, but it was against. It's been against for like, I mean, it's pretty much been against for the past month or so. That's where the highest probability sits. So that's why the entry right here at 629 into market open was a sell. So, all right, guys, three back-to-back wins so far. There's no entry here for 642. Next one coming up is going to be at 646. It is with momentum. Let me go and just change the settings over here. This sucks. I mean, it kind of sucks because of these entries are coming up, but it's going to be right at news. So I'm not going to be taking that one, of course. It's just too close. It's too close to the news event. If anything, I'll be looking for the 654 entry. It's going to be with momentum, ideally looking for a buy. So what I'm going to be looking for here is I'm looking for a buy signal to come up. With that buy signal, I'm going to look for it here to push right back up from where it's currently at. It's looking like it can play out. So I'm looking over here at the current market structure, and it looks, or not really the market structure, but just looking at market volatility, it's starting to flatten out, right? So as it starts to flatten out right here, we can possibly start to see it turn to the upside. But all right, so this intro right here is coming up shortly, guys, in a few moments. Yeah, Masij said news was good, I think, looking for a good reversal. Let me check that real quick. Okay, so the news was good. It was more so on the neutral side, but nonetheless, it was still good. It was positive. So we're going to look for that to possibly swing back up. Now, looking over here at the next news event, we have another high impact news event at 7 o'clock. It looks like news is starting to be released again, guys. For the longest time, we didn't have news because of the government shutdown, but it looks like news here is starting to come out again. It's NFP week, guys, so we'll see. All right, price is still dumping a little bit lower. There's an imbalance right here, but I'm not going to mark it up yet. I'll come back and take a look at that imbalance a little later. But all right, so looking at this so far, three entries for the day, 629, 632, 639. That's about it. We have one coming up right here at 646. It's really close to I mean, if you want to take this right here, guys, take it at your own risk. Again, the news was positive, and then this rate price is overextended now for sure. This thing's almost down 200 points. So if you guys want to take this right here, this entry at 646, which just came up, is for a sell. Obviously, I wouldn't take that trade there. It's right at news. So your price is now starting to push up. It is now starting to push up. The entry that I'd be looking to take here would be closer to 654. So this is going to be a little bit of a problem. This entry right here at 654, it's going to be really close to news again later at 7 o'clock. So I'm hoping that, we can get in and out of this position very quickly within the couple minutes. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of screwed with regard to, holding the position in case price does kind of move based off the news, which I'm not expecting much of it to happen, but It might work out in our favor. It's forecasted to be positive. So if it's positive with this previous news, should be pretty good. All right, so this trade right here is running the 646 entry. I mean, I'm not in the position, but it is running right now. You guys can see here the volatility is starting to kind of flatten out a little bit. This is one of the entries that I was, again, one of my target entries at 646. But unfortunately, it's right at news, so not exactly the entry I would have wanted to take. I kind of liked it better when there wasn't news happening because we wouldn't really get caught up in these price manipulations. All right, so the 646 entry right here is currently running. Ideally, I'd like this to hit pretty soon so that we can get a flip back to the upside for the buy at 654. But so far, I mean, all the entries have been hitting. Literally every entry I identified from last night is pretty much hitting for today. Yeah, Masij said no news is best for the algo for sure. Need the most predictability as possible. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The thing is with news, it's very tricky because you don't know where price is going to spike, right? Price could be positive, price could be negative. It doesn't really matter. Price can push the other way regardless of the fact. That's why you don't really want to trade when there's market manipulation happening. That's why for me, I don't take the opening trade. I don't take news trades and I wait for market to stabilize after news before I get into a position. Because if you get in during news, it's like you're kind of it's a coin toss, right? You don't know if price is going to spike up or spike down. Even if the news is positive, price can still spike down, right? We had the news over here at 645. It was positive, but what happened here? Price is still pushing down a little bit. And now we're kind of sitting here in limbo as we speak. This is probably going to hit, so I think I'll call this a win before I even get to that point. So 640, was it 646? Yeah, 646 full TP right there. Man, what a win streak, guys, for the algo right now. I already called it a win before it even hit, but it played out pretty much as we would have anticipated. So it's 8R for the day so far, guys. 8R for the day. Man, what a day for the algo so far. If you guys are taking these positions, great work. Again, like I said, I would have wanted to take a lot of these entries, but it's just the news for today is kind of screwing up my entries. Um, yeah, the news for today, because I wasn't expecting there to be news today. We were so used to not being news. And a lot of these positions kind of end up near news. Like, for example, this entry was at 646. It was a minute after news. So not exactly the type of entry that I'd be looking to get into. We have another entry right here at 654. This is going to be a buy entry. So we need to get a buy signal before then. It's currently 651 right now. So we would need this buy entry to come up like now in order for us to have that. We'll see. Again, like I said, I'm not forcing any entries here. Today's Monday, so we got a whole week ahead of us. Roosevelt mentioned the opening position always hits, though. I know it does. Typically does. Masij said prices over 200 points below VWAP. It has to come up soon. Yeah, I think it's very overextended. Let's see. Ed said, I think the 46 position is supposed to be against. Was it? Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was supposed to be against. So it was against, but it was still for a sell. So like the 646 actually wouldn't have been taken. It still would have been for a sell. So if it was for a buy because it was going against, you still wouldn't have taken it because the probabilities here still would have been for a sell. So yeah, you are right, Ed. It was supposed to be for sell, but or it was supposed to be against. But either way, if it was supposed to be against, it just would have been a trade that would have been sat out. But thanks for clarifying. Yeah, the direction was still going to be a sell regardless if it was against or for. So it would have been no entry if that was the case. All right, guys. There's not going to be an entry here for 640, 654. It looks like again, this is going to be with momentum. It has a 60% probability for a 1 to 2, a target entry with a 70% probability for buys. Shows over here that 7 out of the 10 previous buys won. And for the previous Mondays, it won 3 out of 3. 3 out of the 3. All right, we got price coming down right now. Okay, so no entry here at 654, guys. Reason for that is because we're looking for a buy. There's no buy signal here. So we're skipping the 654 entry. Let's see, Masih said, do we have access to that faster version of the algo you're using the tester one? So unfortunately not. This is my working model for the tester. So or not for the tester, for the algo. So for the algo over here, basically what I have right here, this is just it's a bare bones model. So it doesn't have all the features that you have on the actual algo. This thing is just to do some like quick testing. So it's a very, very lightweight version. You guys wouldn't like it because this one actually provides a lot more errors. So you might get some errors on it because it doesn't include the screen. There's no like. Let me show you real quick. You can see there's like barely any settings on here, right? It's just to test like the specific minute, but it's not going to run like the chart data or anything like that. So probably wouldn't want to use this for your actual um, marking up of the trades. Yeah, no problem, Siege. I just use this during the live session so that we can pull up the stats very quickly. Because obviously it takes like a couple seconds for the other one to load up, right? So I just use this here for live trading so that we can pull this up very quickly and it just shows the data that's relevant. That's why sometimes when I pull it up, sometimes the numbers are different because it doesn't pull all the data that it should. Okay, so this entry right here is with momentum, longs. So here at this position right now, guys, this trade over here wouldn't necessarily be I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad one. I mean, it's not a great one, but it wouldn't be a bad one. So it has an overall probability of 60%. It won 9 out of the previous 15 entries. And over here on the short side, it has a 40% probability of it winning for sell. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's a horrible position. If we were to do the math there, so let's see. So 60 plus 40 divided by 200. Overall probability is 50-50. So not a great probability, but I mean, there's not really much edge there. It's basically 50-50. So you actually don't have an edge there for this position for a sell. We were looking for a buy there, but like we just said, there's nothing there because the buy signal never came up. Entry over here at 702. So this is going to be another opportunity for entry at 702. Let me just change the settings over here. 902, 902 with momentum. Okay, or sorry, not 902, 702. So 702 right here, we have a 66.67 probability of it winning overall. So it won 10 out of the previous 15 entries. For buys over here, it won 87.50%. So obviously I'm looking for buys here, right? It won 7 out of the previous 8 entries, only one loss. So I'm going to be looking to get into this position right here, but in order for me to get that, we need to have a buy signal come up. So I need a buy signal here to come up, and I'm gonna look for this here to kind of turn around. So basically, I'm looking for it here to flatten out, volatility to slow down, and then I'm gonna look for price here to hopefully push right back up from where it's currently at. So looking for a slowdown right here, push up, and continuation back up for correction. So that is what I'm looking for. I'm getting some connection issues here. For some reason, I always get connection issues at 7 o'clock. I don't know what the case is. We talk about this almost every morning, but you guys saw my trading view over here. It kind of just blinked out. All right, we got news at 7 o'clock as well. So we got high impact news event right here, ISM manufacturing PMI. This is inflation news. It is forecasted to be positive. So last month it was 49.1. This month is forecasted to be 49.5. It looks like we're starting to get consistent news events now. Okay, so if for the 702 entry, again, we need this buy signal to come up very, very soon. Buy signal doesn't come up, we're not going to have an entry there for 702. I was hoping to get into this one here, but unfortunately, we'll have to see. Let's see. Ark said I got distracted. Did you answer the question? Yes, we did, Ark. Are you here? I want to make sure you're paying attention if I'm going to answer it again. So yeah, if you're here, let me know so I can answer your question if you missed it, unless you or else you could just watch. Okay, you're there. So Ark,
Connection lost.
sorry, that's connection loss. Ark, the reason why this here was a sell was because it showed right here that it was against momentum, right? If it was with momentum, then it would have been a buy, but it was against momentum over here. So that's why it was a sell because we had a bullish momentum. Obviously, the opposite of bullish here would be sell. So instead of taking buy here, you would have taken the sell. And that's why it was a sell here, not a buy. If it said with momentum, so if you look over here at the next entries, if it said with momentum, then in that case, yeah, it would be a buy because you'd be going with momentum. But because it was against, that's why right there it was a sell, not a buy. Let's see. Ed said, Masij, if you put the screener start and end at the same time, it will speed up massively. Um, yeah, so one thing that you can do, so if you're just doing by the minute, you just gotta set your or you just gotta turn the screener off, basically. If you turn the screener off, it'll speed up a lot. Like if you go to your settings here, because the thing that's really lagging it is gonna be the screener because it takes a long time, right? If you're running the screener, you're basically looking to run the data. So see right here how it's running the data? You just got to turn the screener off. You got to turn off the screener and then you set your time there. And then you would basically like you just set your start time just to an hour basically, or even less than an hour. Like if you're trading, if you're looking for entries between like say 6 o'clock, right? And you're looking for trades between 6 o'clock and 6:10, you do something like this, Message, and then this will load it up a lot faster. Because it's only pulling data for 10 minutes. See right there how it already updated? You just got to change these numbers here to like a smaller scale. Or if you want to like, what Ed mentioned, if you do 801 to 801, it's going to be like extremely fast. See right here how it's updating report? Um, see how it only takes a few seconds? Um, but yeah, I just saw the rest of your messages. If your computer is a little slow, then it might be your computer, not the algo. Ed said, yeah, it might be that. Really take a second. Asij said if I get a good profit today, I'm ordering a new laptop. Yeah, because you also need to have the power to actually load it up. But yeah, you see how fast that is, Masij? If you just change the settings a little bit, like for example, let's say it's 701 right now, right? So, or go to 702, and you just want to load it up. See how it loaded up already? Or see how it says updating? And it updates within seconds. Oh gosh. Okay, Masij said, I don't think it's the algo, it's his laptop. It's all good. Yeah, once you get a better laptop, it'll probably load up a lot faster. All right, guys, so this entry right here at 702, unfortunately, we're not going to get the entry. Like I said, we need to have a buy signal here for us to take that, right? If you look over here at 702, it is a 66.67 overall probability for overall, whether it be a buy or a sell. So at 110 out of the previous 15 entries, we have a pending buy signal right here, but this is not going to count. This buy signal had to happen before the actual catalyst candle at 702. So unfortunately, no entry here at 702. The only entry that I really have to come up is going to be later at 7:55. So we're basically going to be hanging out for like the next 50 minutes or so. for this entry at 755. If you guys have any questions, this is a great time to ask questions. If you want me to review anything or cover anything that you guys need help with, I mean, feel free to hop into the chat. It looks like we're pretty much going to hang out for a bit until then, because there's no entries here. I mean, there's entries coming up, but these are not target entries. The Yeah, there's nothing there. And the news right here at 7 o'clock was actually negative. So it looks like we're going to be hanging out for the next 50 minutes, guys. If there's any questions, again, if you want me to cover anything, explain anything, feel free to hop into the chat. This is your time to really ask any questions, because we're not going to have anything for like the next 50 minutes. Or actually, we're going to have trades, but they're not going to be target entries. So here, I'll kind of play around with it. Let's see. The next entry right here is going to be at 7:05. This is going to be with momentum. Again, we don't have any momentum here yet, so we'll keep following it. All right, so this trade over here at 7:05, this is going to be with momentum. So right now we have a sell signal which is active. This is going to be a sell entry, it looks like. It has a 53.33 probability of it winning overall. So it won 8 out of the previous 15 entries. Probability there's not so great, right? It's not one of those trades I'd really like to jump into. For a sell over here, it has a 71.43% probability. It won 5 out of the previous 7 entries, so that's a little bit better. Doing the math over here, my threshold is 65%. So 53.53 plus 71.43. That's 124.76 divided by 200. The probability for this trade is 63%. So it's not a horrible trade. You still have an edge here. It's about a 13-point edge. If you guys want to take this position, I mean, feel free to take it. For me personally, it's not one that I'm looking to take because like I mentioned, my threshold has to be above 65, right? So it's currently at 62.3. So it's not there. Doesn't meet the criteria. If you guys want to take it though, I mean, there's still edge there. It's just not a good edge. Or it's an okay edge. It's not necessarily a not good edge. It's just a okay edge. So yeah, if you guys are looking to hop into that right there, it is going to be a sell entry at 7:05 right now. Not taking this, but I will mark it up for you guys here for those of you who are looking to get into it. Again, the probability is 62%. So basically a 12-point edge. It's not horrible. You still have an edge there. Have an edge, but it doesn't meet my target entry criteria. Another thing here is that market's starting to consolidate. I don't want to jump into anything too crazy here. So let's see, the next entry is going to be at 7:09. None of these entries are target entries for me. Let's see, so this entry right here. So again, if you guys are part of the premium, I mean, just look at the entries that I set up. Again, the ones that I'm looking to take say target entry, right? So if you look over here, let me just highlight it real quick so that you guys can see. These here I'm looking to take that say target entry. The ones that don't say target entry, there's enough probability there to be added to the list. Anything above 60% could be added to the list. But in order for it to be a target entry for me, it has to be above 65. So this 7:05 entry did not meet that criteria. Like I said, it's at 62. So there's edge there, but the edge wasn't that great. Plus market here is starting to consolidate a little bit. You don't want to trade when market's consolidating like this. The next entry is at 7:09. So let's see, I have the settings over here in place. So very similar entry. Over here, it has an overall probability of 53.33%. It won 8 out of the previous 15 entries. The buys over here have a 44.44 probability. It won only 4 out of the previous 9 entries. That's not a good probability for me. Over here on the sell side, it has a little bit higher. It has a 66.67 probability of it winning. It won 4 out of the previous 6 entries. So 2 losses, 4 wins. With that being the case, I can go ahead and add the criteria here again. So 53.33 plus 66.67. That is 120. We divide that by 200. It has a 60% probability. Not that great, right? So this barely made the list. The 709 entry here barely made the list because in order for it to be on the list, it has to have at least a 60% probability. In order for it to be a target entry, it has to have 65. So the probabilities on this trade aren't that great. If you guys want to take it, again, you still have a 10-point edge, but that 10-point edge isn't really going to be huge. So it's still kind of a bit of a toss-up. Ideally, I want something with a very, very high edge for the most part. So let's do this in comparison to the 755 entry, right? So the 755 entry over here has a 53.33% probability of it overall, plus 80% probability for buys. That's a 133.33 probability divided by 200. This here has a 66.7 probability. We're just rounding it up. 66.7 probability of the 755 entry. So that makes it a little bit different. All right, we got price pushing up right now. This is the 709 entry. This is with momentum. It's actually aiming for a sell, so probably not going to be an entry there. And the volatility here is starting to slow down a bit. Masij is asking, do you all recommend Windows or Mac? I have an M1 MacBook right now, but looking to upgrade. I mean, it kind of depends, Masij. Like, if you're trading with NinjaTrader, I mean, obviously you need a PC. For me personally, I like Macs. So it's different for me because I like Macs overall. For me, I like my workflow to be on Macs. For executing trades, I just use a gaming laptop. I use a HP gaming laptop Victus, which is like the highest spec for this specific gaming laptop. So I mean, it depends on you, personality wise. For me, I like the whole cloud system with the Mac, so I like to do all my work and other stuff other than trading on my Mac. But for executing trades, I just use a gaming laptop. So it kind of depends on like on your preference. If you can do everything on a PC, I would just go with a PC. But for me personally, I do everything on my iPhone. Like I have an iPhone, I have an Apple Watch. Like everything is Apple in the Apple ecosystem. So everything outside trading, I do on Apple. But obviously NinjaTrader. The thing is, I'm shifting to StoneX, right? So when I shift over to StoneX, it's actually a web platform, so I don't even need to be on like I'm not even going to be on the PC anymore, I don't think. So. It just kind of depends. Yeah, Masih said might buy a Mac desktop and then a Windows laptop. That seems like a good balance. That's exactly what I do. So I have an iMac Pro, which is my main screen in front of me. This is like a full spec iMac Pro. And then I have two screens right here, and then I have one laptop right here just to hit buy or sell for Ninja. And then I got two mouses. I got this one, which is for my Mac, and then I got this one over here, which is for my laptop. And all I do is I hit buy or sell on my laptop. I don't do anything else on it. Okay, so this entry did not come up, guys. Again, for right here at 709, we were looking for a possible sell. This here was a buy, so obviously it would have been skipped. Did not go in the direction of probabilities. The next one's going to be at 721. All right, 721. We got some time here. So let me go over the questions real quick. Let's see. Darren has a question. Okay, so Darren said, "Hey Sean, when you have a gap and you quickly show your settings to generate the trades, as I can't seem to generate the list you have whenever there's a gap." Um, which um, which list are you talking about, Darren? Are you talking about this right here? Because I created this list. So the list is under the algo chat over here. I post it up pretty much every night if you want to have the same list as me. If you're talking about the screener is different. Obviously, if you're doing your own research and back testing or testing in general to figure out your own entries, you would use a screener. But like, I'm not using the screener at all. These are my positions that I identified last night. I do all the work the night before, and I already have the entries lined up for the trading day. Gotcha. Okay, so okay, okay. So you're having trouble. Are you having trouble with the screener, or do you think this is the list? Because this list is different. This one isn't the screener. I go through the screener one by one to identify these entries, and then I already have it listed. So I these aren't from the screener. Well, I mean they're from the screener, but they're not pulled up like with the actual indicator. I do these by hand because you still have to look for the entries by hand. Yeah. So if you have problems with the screener, let me know and I can help you with it. But yeah, these are so I could turn the screener on for you real quick to kind of show you the difference because you're not going to find all these entries on the screener. I mean, you have to do all this stuff. I go one by the minute. You're going to find some of the entries, but you're not going to find all of them. So here, I'll just set up my chart real quick. So 40, 20, 29 to okay. Yeah, so the screener is going to load up right now. You can see the screener and you can see right here. So some of these entries here came up, not all of them, but a couple of them, right? It's like 854, right? Which is going to be this one right here. That was one that we looked at. So see how they come up right here? Even though they come up right here, you still have to pull them up on the list. So for example, if I see that on the list right there, I'll just set it up right here, 854. And then this is how I get the numbers because I go back and then I kind of just I confirm it myself. So I go over here and I look at the numbers and I'm like, okay, the numbers right here say 56.3. You're gonna see the numbers are gonna be different. That's why I don't base it off the screener. Or actually, no, it's very spot on. Obviously, so the numbers here change because the market is now open. That's the that's why these are kind of different. Like before this trade over here was at 60%, but because the entry lost, now the percentages are a bit lower because it lost for today, right? So that's how I do. You basically look up the entries right here, and then from there, I would look them up on the reports, and then if the numbers here line up, then I add them to my list. Ideally, I would say not go, don't go too far because you're gonna miss a lot of entries here. What I would say is like um, maybe chop it up into like 10-minute or 20-minute blocks. Because if you go too far out, like for example, if you go all the way to like 10, you're gonna miss a lot of entries because the screener only identifies the previous 10, right? Or the top 10. So you're only gonna see so many here. Okay, turn this back on. All right, guys, again, next entry is going to be at 721. This entry is going to be for a buy. So if you guys are looking to get into this position right here, it has a 60% probability of it winning overall for a 1 to 2, has a 66.67 probability for buys, and it won 2 out of the 3 recent Mondays. So let me do the math over here real quick. This is going to be against momentum. So 60 plus 66.67, 126.67 divided by 200. The probabilities aren't high enough. They're high enough to be on the list, but not enough to take the trade. So it has a 63.3% probability of it winning here um, for a buy if it comes up for a buy. It's a big if, right? Because what it's looking like right now is price is still dumping lower, so I don't even know if the buys here will come up. All right, let me scroll up real quick. Nice, yeah. Certain City's got a mini PC Ryzen 7 and a Mac 249 switching. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no, definitely. I just saw your message right now. Yeah, race is coming up in like another month, so I got some time. You know, what I realize is a lot of you guys know that I do fitness racing. I'm gonna stop for a while because I'm just way too busy. So I'm gonna do my race for this year in December, and I'm just gonna chill out for the rest of the year. The thing is, the hedge fund's growing super fast, and it's just a ton of work. So I got to make the hedge fund priority, of course. It's hard to train every day for fitness races when you have all this other stuff. Plus, I got the baby. It's like nonstop. Every day I'm tired. That's why I'm drinking coffee. If you guys remember to watch, if you guys watched my live sessions from earlier this year, basically from January until July, I never drank coffee. And now I drink coffee every morning because I'm just tired all the time. I'm like literally working around the clock from 5 o'clock until like midnight every day, same schedule. All right, guys. So the 721 entry is coming up pretty soon. Again, like we said, we're looking for a buy here. The trade's going to come up. It just has an okay probability. The probability is not super, super great, but it's going to come up. So if you guys are looking to get into this position at 721, look for the market here to slow down a little bit, right? It's starting to come down a little bit, but look for it to kind of flatten out. So what you want to see here is you want to see price flatten out and then reverse back up. It's actually looking like it can happen right here because it looks like price here is starting to flatten out. You know, if I was to draw some sort of resistance down here, flatten out right there and bounce back up. Not resistance, support. So this could be a possible opportunity at 721. It's not a target entry for me, so I'm not going to take it, but the probabilities there are they're not horrible. They're not great, but they're also not horrible. So like I said, it has a 63.3% probability of it winning right here, basically a reversal at 721. So yeah, if you guys are interested in taking that, I mean, this could play out, but we'll see. My entry for myself is not going to happen until later, 7:55. I got some time here. I got some time until that happens. All right, let me get back to the questions. Darren is asking, may I ask the indicator you use on your screen to show ATR? Yes. So go to your indicators, Darren. Go down to invite only. Go to K2 trailing stop. Once you click on that right there, this is what the settings look like. So in order to get this ATR on your chart, go to right here where it says show ATR, check that on, and then you can set the location. If you want bottom center like mine, click bottom center. If you want bottom right, it'll go to the right, top right, tops, wherever you want to put it, right? If you want it in the center, top, you can do that. For me, I like it here on the bottom. So bottom center. And then the default settings for the indicator are going to give you these lines. This is meant for a trailing stop, so you know where to put your trailing stop at if you want to use it. I don't really use it anymore. I used to use it before, but not so much. You can just turn those off to clean it up. And that's how you would get the ATR down below right there. All right, let me flip this over a little bit. This is against momentum at 920 or 721. All right, if you guys are looking to take this entry right here, guys, it is a buy entry. So if you guys are looking to jump into that buy entry right here, I'm not going to get into it because it's not part of my entries. Like I mentioned, guys, I send out my entries the night before. So on the Discord over here under Algo, I set all my entries right here. So when I send these entries into the chat, I already know which trades I'm going to take, right? If it's not any of my target entries, I'm not going to maybe take it. So I already have my decisions made the night before. That's why for me right now, I don't really care if this entry comes up or not because I'm not taking it. The next one that I'm looking to take is going to be at 755. I think this is a key thing that a lot of you guys need to do because you want to take out as much discretion as possible. You don't really want to have discretion when you guys are trading. Otherwise, you're going to mess with your trade psychology. You want to go into the position knowing that you want to take this specific entry. The only discretion that you want to like have come into play is whether you're going to skip the position, right? You don't want to have it, you don't want to have discretion whether you're going to to take it or not take it, but you just want to have discretion whether you want to skip it or not. So for example, if the market conditions are too crazy, too volatile, too choppy, too going sideways, I mean, whatever it may be, you have the decision to sit out of the position, but you don't want to have the decision to get into it, right? Like for example, here, this trade is currently running in profit. I'm not going to get any FOMO here because I already told myself last night I'm not going to take this position, right? So It doesn't matter if the position came up or didn't come up. I wasn't planning on taking this position at all. So I don't have any discretion to get in late if I wanted to, right? Because this is what happens a lot of times. People will see this jump up. They already decide not to take the position. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, I want to get into this. They get in right here super late, and then they get horrible entry, right? I'm sure this happened to you guys before in the past. It was a problem I had for a while. FOMO is one of the biggest problems for a lot of people. It's FOMO, over trading, and revenge trading. Those are the three big reasons why a lot of people are not successful at trading or why they don't have consistency. You got to go into the position confident. You have to know that you want to take the position. You have to know your parameters for TP stop loss. You can't just do it on the fly. I feel like a lot of people try to trade on the fly and it never works out. Right. It never works out. Like you could be doing like a million things to identify analysis for a specific trade. And at the last second, you're like, oh, I'm going to get into this. Boom, you enter into the position and then it loses. And then you get mad at yourself because you're like, I should have just not taken the trade. Right. Um, so it's important whenever you guys start your trading day, whether you're trading with me or not with me, have a trading plan, have some sort of game plan in play, right? Know which positions you're taking, know how much risk you're taking, know what your TP stop loss is, know when to skip the position, when to sit out, know when there's news happening, know all this stuff. Because if you don't know this stuff, you're kind of just gambling at that point. You don't have a real edge. So right here, guys, I'm not in this position. I just marked it up for you guys to follow. Like I said, it wasn't one of my target entries. The probabilities here just weren't very high, right? 60% probability overall for buy or sell. It won 9 out of the previous 15 entries. For buys over here, I had a 66.67 probability. Over here, it won 4 out of the previous 6 entries. So with that being the case, it had a 63% probability. That's basically a 13-point edge. Not a really, I mean, it's an okay edge, but not a great edge for me. So good thing I skipped that entry or decided not to take it because it would have lost, right? So that's why I make these decisions the night before because I already know something like this could happen. I only want to take entries that have the highest probability in my favor. So with that being the case, let's go here to the next entry that I actually am looking to take, 755. This is going to be with momentum. And I talked about this before too. I like to take trades with momentum. I prefer with momentum than against. Because when you're going against, you're kind of going against the grain, right? For me, if the market's going down, I want to ride this wave to the downside. I don't want to cash it in the opposite direction because the odds are price is probably going to keep moving in that direction. So let me scroll down real quick, see if there's any other questions here. Message that I believe Sean said to me on Discord screener performance depends on your trading view plan. It's because of how far back the data can load in time for your plan. Yeah, I agree with you too, Masish. So here's a problem with using the screener on your chart, guys. If you guys are on a low plan, you don't have as much data on your chart. That's why the data is going to be a little bit skewed. For me, I'm on premium, so I have it's not even the best data, but it's like kind of up there. That's why for me, my numbers might be a little bit different for you. So it's better to screen them by the minute versus doing it on the screener. The screener is there to give you a framework of like what to look at, but you still want to look at the actual time by the minute. Like you'll grab the list of possible entries from the screener and then you put them into the reports because this is going to be more accurate than the screener on chart. Roosevelt's asking, is there a way we can get statistics on all algo trades, then only target entry algo trades? I mean, you technically can, but that's a lot of data. It's a lot of data to pull up on your chart. Like you would still have to go candle by candle. And that's pretty much what I do. Yeah, Roosevelt said the percentages if you took them, but now that I'm thinking that's just the percentages that are shown. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to pull the data that's on the chart or that you have behind, but you'd still have to go candle by candle because, like I said, if you pull the screener data, it's not going to be 100% accurate. It's going to show a pretty close number. Like for example, here at price, it says 53 point huh? Sorry guys, I'm having connection issues again over here for some reason. Hmm. Yeah, I'm really hating Ninja Trader in a sense. All right, so I'm gonna have to like, sorry, I got time. So the thing is, I got so many accounts on my Ninja Trader that I'm gonna have to really log into everybody again because it shows like a handful of people here with some connection issues. I can't wait until we transition to StoneX. Guys, so just a heads up, I might have been a little too ahead with StoneX. We're not going to transition to StoneX anytime soon. It's going to be maybe 2 to 3 week waiting period. The reason for that is because I need to be familiar with StoneX before we actually onboard people onto the platform. So yeah, although NinjaTrader does have its issues, we're going to stick with NinjaTrader for now. Of course, right now I just have an issue. So what I gotta do right now is I'm gonna have to disconnect from everybody and then reconnect. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that right now. Here, let me answer any questions real quick before I do that. This is gonna take a while because I have like 80 accounts to log into. Let me scroll down real quick. Chris said, yeah, money over high rocks, 100%. Masish said coffee doesn't do anything for me. I'm not sure why. You probably have too much, your caffeine intake's probably too high, Masish. Um, yeah, Michael said fitness racing like the movie Arthur the King. Exactly. Brock said avoiding that one. Yeah, probably good to avoid that one there. Masij said, sorry, everyone. Sean just reminded me sending my entries for ES. Nice, nice. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Masij. So if you guys saw, or if you guys are in the premium, Masij here has been looking at the ES entries and Masij has been killing it. So if you look at the entries from last week, I think Masij sent the ES entries, and basically all of them won for the most part. It was like 4 out of 4. It's pretty amazing. So it's good to see a lot of you guys here using the algo to your own advantage, for other assets. The thing with the algo here is that it works pretty much for anything that has volatility or momentum, right? Basically any future asset, because all future assets they're efficient for the most part. If you use it on something that's inefficient, like maybe like a meme coin or a crypto that's like not very, it doesn't move very much, then you're probably not going to be able to get a lot of good entries. But if you use it on something that's moving all day, every day, like ES, NQ, YM, gold, GC, oil, whatever it may be, you can find good entries. So Masih here has been sharing. If you guys are part of the premium, just check the premium chat. Masih has been sharing his trades here, and they've been pretty good. So basically followed the same format of my own trades here, but they are for ES, not YM. So thanks, Masij, for sharing that. Barack said this algo is lit. I'll get some getting used to for me, but I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, definitely. CJ said I'm out at break even. That sell signal was my sign to get out. Nice, nice move on that, CJ, getting out of that position. Darren said one more question on the momentum V2 indicator. What are your settings on time frame 1 and 2? You don't have to turn that on, Darren. That's only if you want to have that set up. Basically, if you have those settings set up for the momentum indicator, it's gonna give you a gold bar. So for example, if you want the momentum to line up with like say for example you're on the 1 minute but you want the momentum to line up with like say the 1 minute and the 5 minute and the 10 minute, it'll give you a gold bar if they all line up, but you don't need that, so turn that off. That was meant for a different strategy previously, so you don't need to have that on there because you don't really care for it to line up. But if you want to be very, very sure and confident with the momentum direction, you could turn this on. This gold bar just shows you that the momentum is bearish. So for example, see how this here is a bearish momentum? This shows you that it's also bearish on the 10 minute and the 5 minute, but it's not necessary. We used to use that a lot when we were trend trading before, but since we don't really trade technicals anymore, it's not necessary. But if you want to be like super for sure, you could still use it. It's just you're not going to have a lot of entries on there. All right, I think I answered pretty much most of the questions here. So let me go ahead and reconnect my NinjaTrader. All right, so bear with me, guys. You're probably gonna hear a ton of noise from my from my NinjaTrader because I'm gonna be logging into about like 80 accounts. You're gonna hear the login button so many times right now. That's what I hate about NinjaTrader too, is I have to log into everybody's account one by one. It's kind of annoying, but I gotta do it. All right, let's start the login process. There goes one. You guys are just gonna hear that dinging sound for a while. They log into everybody's account. And I used to hate just logging into my Apex, like my prop accounts, but this is a whole different story. This like sound, I'm probably gonna mute my computer next time because I get kind of annoyed at this noise. Um, I mean I can't mute it because I need to listen for when I have connection issues, but yeah, I can't wait till we make that shift over to StoneX because they'll all be logged in already. I don't have to log in people's accounts. Let me do a bulk login right here. All right, there we go. We are logged into about 80 accounts here. Damn, it's a lot. All right, cool. I think we're good. Yeah, I mean, NinjaTrader is okay. Um, I think NinjaTrader is okay if you're a retail trader. So if you just have like a few accounts, NinjaTrader is good. But if you're running a hedge fund or you're doing some sort of account management, it becomes a nightmare because it takes forever for you to get stuff on here. And there's always some sort of connection issue, and you always have to double check it, and it is what it is. Um, yeah, I didn't realize that that so like a long time ago, NinjaTrader used to be like really they used to be focused on like the commercial side, but now that they like a lot of these prop firms work with NinjaTrader, they're more so on the retail side. So like they don't even have CTA solutions. Before they used to do block orders and they would be able to produce reports and stuff like that, but now they're just more focused on the individual trader or retail trader, of course. Uh, the good news is that with StoneX, so I was able to negotiate lower commissions, guys, because I've been looking at a lot of the hedge fund clients. Some of you guys are paying like 129 per contract in commissions. I was able to negotiate the commissions down to $1 or around $1. That's the good thing about kind of working with like a institutional broker versus a retail broker. When you do a retail, they kind of just give you prices, right? You can't really negotiate your way out of anything. You got to take what they give you. With StoneX, I was able to negotiate lower commissions, but in turn, I have to trade a certain amount. So with StoneX, I basically have to trade about, I think in volume, I got to trade a couple million per day. So a couple $1 million per day, it sounds huge, but if I have 100 clients, trading $1 million in volume per trade is not really it's a good amount, but it's not like a crazy amount, which is why I'm with the institutional broker because I'm trading so much volume. So I have to have uh I think over 6 million in assets under management. So I basically have to have 6 million of trading uh accounts. I got to trade volume of about 1 million to 2 million per day. Um There's a couple other things, but I mean, basically, I basically have to trade a lot. So if I trade a lot, then I'll keep the commissions at a lower number, which is beneficial to like a lot of the smaller traders. So I do have some big clients that are like they're investing about, seven figures, like up to 1 million. And then we have smaller clients who are investing the bare minimum, right? Like 10,000 or less. So it's kind of nice because we have a nice balance there, and then everybody kind of reaps the benefits of trading within my hedge fund with an institutional broker. So yeah, it'll be cool once you make that full transition. Let's see, iPhone's asking you can't do the auto connect to startup. Sean, with I do that with Apex, or do you choose not to enable it for safety? Yes. So it's a personal option, or it's my decision to do it one by one iPhone because with Apex, it's easy because you just log into Apex and it shows all the accounts are listed on there, right? For me, I have to make sure that all the accounts are actually logged in because sometimes there's going to be an account error with like a few accounts. And if I do the automatic login, I'm not going to be able to see. That's why I have to listen for that sound because when it makes that ding sound, it tells me that okay, this account is logged in and it is good to go. If you do auto on startup, it's not going to make that noise. So I'm not going to know which one is having issues or which one's not fully logged in and stuff. So yeah, it's a personal choice. Uh, and the thing is that I'm trading real money, right? So I don't want to have an error with I don't want to have an error with like one person's account and then they don't copy or they copy and they don't get out of the position. There's a lot of room for error if you don't check off all the boxes. So yeah, it's my choice. Yeah, iPhones to change the audio file in your program files to from ding to let's fucking go at them. I know it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Let's see. Cern said that commission though. That's how the owner of IC Markets is a billionaire. Yeah, it's crazy, right? You think about it. So let's see. Let's just do the math of like this is why the institutional broker like messes like they want to buy my business. Because you think about it, they're paying a dollar per contract, right? And say, for example, I'm doing 1,000 contracts, right? 1,000 contracts times a dollar is 1,000, of course. And then we're doing like maybe three. And this is just me, right? And I'm a small fry in the market. So every time I take an order, um, actually, no, this number is a lot bigger. So basically, the way that these brokers make money off these commissions is like, they charge like a dollar per contract. So for example, if I'm doing 1,000 contracts and I'm doing like 1 to 3 trades, that's going to be about like 3,000 every time I enter a position. Like just every time I enter a position. The thing is, there's like thousands and thousands of traders who are trading on this broker. Because I looked at the numbers, they're probably, the volume is probably like in the millions, of course, right? So every time they, their traders or their hedge funds take positions, they make like 100,000 to like $1 million in commissions, which is nuts. It's crazy. That's how like these brokers make so much money. They make it based off the commissions. That's why you can, if you're with an institutional broker, you can kind of negotiate it goes down to the cents, right? Like a dollar and then 59 cents and then 60 cents and then whatever it may be. Because those cents make a big difference. Let's see, Barack said also he has an ongoing lawsuit on his name. I received an email for a class action regarding IC markets, then CFDs. Yeah, I heard about that too, Barack. Yeah, I heard about that too. Stern said for sure, and that's for leverage without warning or explanation. Yeah, the thing with IC markets and just a lot of these international brokers is that their leverage is crazy, right? You could do like 1 to 1,000. So they let you blow your entire account if need be. With the US regulated brokers, the leverage is very low. It's like 1 to 20 or 1 to 10. So you can't really blow your account, but you got to have more money in the account to cover the margin. That's why for my hedge fund, in order for you to trade with me, you need at least 10,000. If you don't have 10,000, you just wouldn't be able to trade because you can't cover the margin. Even though the margin requirements are a little less. Realistically, you need about like 700 per contract or about 1,000 per contract used. All right, guys, market here is kind of flattening out a little bit. Again, we're looking for this entry at 755. It is going to be for a buy entry with momentum. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to continue climbing up higher and push up higher from there. If we don't get that, then it's perfectly fine, right? I don't need to take any entries for today. So far, if you guys have been following my entries for the day, we've had four back-to-back entries right here win. So we had an entry over here at 629, 632, 639, 646. These are all target entries that came up. The 702 entry here didn't come up, so it was we are looking for a buy entry. I believe it came up for a sell. So over here at 702, which is, yeah, right here. I was looking for a buy, but it came up for a sell, and it looks like the sell here did play through. Looks like, yeah. So I was looking for a buy there, but the entry did come up for a sell and it did play through. This was the 702 entry. It was with momentum. The momentum here was bullish or bearish, so it would have been for a sell, but I was looking for a buy there, so I didn't take it because the probabilities there weren't in my favor. Let's see, iPhone said, I thought this was legit. They have my account number, trade on unless IC Markets has been hacked, looks legit. they do have a couple lawsuits. So IC Markets does have a couple lawsuits going on right now. I don't know because I don't use IC Markets, but they do have a couple lawsuits right now. Yeah, so iPhone used them back in 2018. You know, the thing is, I used them back in 2018 as well, but I think it was through a different email. Yeah, iPhone said, silly me, 1,000 X leverage got fried. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the thing with IC Markets is you can start with like $100 and you could lose the full $100, right? Which is crazy. If you traded that with like a US regulated broker, so for example, if you put in $100 and it was like a 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 leverage, you can only lose like 10 or $20 and then you get margin called out. So you can't lose all your money. Um, with a lot of these international brokers, they didn't really care, they let you blow your entire account. It was a good thing and it was a bad thing. It was a good thing because you could take like risk that you couldn't normally take with a regular account, but then it was a bad thing because if you blew your account, it was very easy to blow your account. Yeah, Jonathan said, it reminds me of Hugo's Way back in the day. Yeah, exactly. That's another one. Hugo's Way, I mean, there was a lot of these, what is it called? Trader's Way. There's a lot of those brokers that people used. It all came from what's it called? From IML, right? All the IML people used to push that stuff. They used to push Hugo's Way. Hugo's Way is funny. I always thought that was like a funny broker for like and such a weird name. Hugo's Way, Trader's Way, Cot. You guys remember Cot? I think we still have that. Do we have that here? Look, here's the crazy thing. If you guys traded with those types of brokers, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have, this is from the Telegram. So here's the thing. See, there was always issues with Cot. So this guy over here, he was on that broker, right? So they give you like 1,000x leverage. This guy, he put like I think $1,000 or whatever, and because of the leverage, this dude went super far in the negative. Like he went negative 21,000. Usually they're supposed to close you out when you get to that point, but this guy was like negative 21. It said like, I don't know what the fuck's going on right now. I want my money back from cut. Had a 25 pip stop loss and it's not honoring it. And this dude lost all of his money basically. Um, yeah, that's why you have to be careful with which broker you decide to use because a lot of those international ones, they don't really care. They're out there to get your money, right? So they're not going to stop your position. Even if you have a stop loss, they're going to let it run through it and they're going to say it was your fault. Um, that was like, when was that post? That was from a long time ago, 2019. So if you guys traded with me back in 2019, uh, that was what everybody was on. Caught. Trader's Way, Hugo's Way, stuff like that. So the good thing with that though is if you blew your account, like if that happened to you, you wouldn't really owe the money because you would just not open another account with them. You just go to a different broker. But yeah, you could lose all your money basically. That would never happen with a US broker. They'd cut you off. They cut you off before you blow all your money. Yeah, Barack said, I wonder if you'd see that screenshot if the market was in his direction. Cat and mouse game. Yeah, of course, people play the victim if it's against them, but if it's with them, they're super happy and like and they're all for it. All right, so there's still nothing here right now, guys. The volatility here is really low, so I don't know if we're gonna get this move at 755. I was hoping, well, I mean, I don't want to speak too early because what happens a lot of times is we say that and the volatility picks up at, closer to 755. So we'll see what happens here. I need to see how the volume and momentum is moving here. The ATR is not super bad. It's currently at 25 ATR. Let me check the ATR actually. It looks kind of, I'm surprised it's that. No, I guess it looks normal. It just looks like it's a lot quicker than 2024, but I guess it is sitting at 24 right now. Okay, guys, if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. It is 7:50. It's about to be 7:50 right now. I don't think there's any other news for today. So the catalyst right now is I mean, it's pretty flat for the most part overall with regard to the market. Um, I'll be looking to get into that entry, but the volume here is pretty low, so we'll have to kind of just see how price here ends up moving as we get closer to 755. Again, let me run the numbers over here to see what everything's looking like. So this is the statistics for um, 755. It's going to be on the 1 minute time frame with momentum. TP's 40, stop loss is 20. I'm curious to see what the bigger numbers are looking like. So let me go over here real quick to say 3015. Okay, so it actually is the probabilities go up a lot more on the lower time frame. Let me look at 5025. They're still pretty high, actually. The numbers here look pretty good for with momentum. 6030, still pretty decent right there. 80% probability for buys. 7035. So the buys here still look good, even though the overall doesn't look super, super great. 8040. Yeah, so it looks like the numbers here are, I mean, the buys overall, just in general, the buys here look pretty decent when it comes down to it. The bigger moves over here is where it kind of starts to sway off a little bit. 9045, 5100. Okay, yeah. It looks like the cutoff is going to be around like 80 40 around there where it continues to move in the direction, but then it starts to flatten out. So the 4020 here does look good. Let me go and do the math again for you guys here. So the math again is 53.33 plus 80. It's going to be 133.33. We divide that by 200 to identify the edge. The edge is 66.7. So we just round this up right here. It's 66.665, but if you round it up, it's 66.7. So it has basically a 16 to 17 point edge here for a buy if anybody's looking to take it. We got a couple minutes here, so we'll uh we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. See, the thing is, I want the volatility to still be moving though, or like having some sort of at least some sort of consistency, but we'll see. I mean, it's kind of flattening out a little bit, but we'll know when it happens. But yeah, guys, if there's any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. I'm gonna step away for 1 second. I'm just gonna go grab some water real quick. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go grab some water. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll be back before the entry comes up here. So I'm gonna step away for just 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see. Cern said XM still does 1 to 1,000. Registered in South Africa. I remember XM a long time ago. I didn't realize they're still around, but now it's crazy. That is it's a little crazy. All right, we got the entry coming up right here, guys, in about a minute. It's gonna be for a buy with momentum. Let's see, I'm gonna go over to the market structure over here. So we got a support level, which is like right. It's not that big, very small. A little bit of a resistance point, like right here. All right, we got the entry coming up right here, guys. For those of you who are looking to get into it, it looks like it could be fine. So I'll probably get into this right here as it closes. And about 40 seconds left on it. Probability is 67, I believe, something like that. Well, the accounts look okay. We have this candle closing in about 20 seconds. As long as the candle doesn't close super big, I'll be fine. It's closing in about 10 seconds. I'll be watching it here. If the candle closes too big, I'm gonna sit out of it. But if it closes like decent, normal, get into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Order submitted. Order.
All right, let me see if I got this set up here properly. 507.
Order filled.
Got this off by 1 right there. Trade is currently running. It's like there might have been some slippage there across some of the accounts, but it's running right now. All right, it is currently running right now. It's in profit about 16 points. 12 points. The volatility is kind of low, but it is pushing up right there as we speak. Yeah, the volatility is just really kind of flat right here.
Stop filled.
Wait, what? That's weird. For some reason that account, I don't know if there was slippage. My trade's still running though. So I'm going to be watching it here. I mean, I'm still running in my position right now. It looks like some of the accounts have here had some issues. Yeah, my position's running right now in profits and 20 points. I don't know what happened with this specific position, but I'll be checking it in a few. But my position here is still currently running my normal position. It's in profit 22 points, 26, 27, about a point away, 30. Currently at 30 points in profit, 35, 3 points away, full TP. All right, I'm out.
Target filled.
Target filled. I don't know what happened with a couple of these accounts here. I'm trying to figure out the hell happened. Hmm. That is so weird. I don't know what happened. But there's like a few accounts here that just had issues. Uh, huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys saw the trade hit, obviously. I don't know what happened. It looks like it happened, like there was an error with like a couple of the accounts here. I think it's so Sharon, I think or Lila, it's yours and Brett's account and one other guy, Hector. Hmm. Those are like there's like three accounts that didn't execute. I don't it seems like it's an account side issue. It's not a NinjaTrader issue. But those accounts had an issue, and then unfortunately for a couple people here, it did take a loss. Um, yeah, I don't know what happened. This is like the one downside of it with using NinjaTrader over here. But anyways, full TP right there on that trade. Unfortunately for some of you guys, if you guys are hedge fund clients, it looks like for a couple of you guys here, it didn't work. Or for some reason, like the targets and whatnot, it was mainly with my prop accounts. So the prop accounts are what had the real issue. Now those accounts, I don't know what the hell happened with those accounts. But those accounts there did have the issue. And then just a small portion of the hedge fund clients had a little bit of an issue here. I mean, it's really, really unfortunate. I think so. I'm gonna have to make a list of these people who are having issues with the accounts. I can't take trades on these people's accounts, unfortunately. It looks like there's something wrong with their account that's affecting everyone else's. But here, but anyways, full TP on that trade, guys. I just feel bad for like these other people who had issues. It looks like there's only like maybe three people here who had issues on the hedge fund client side. Um, yeah, it just sucks to see this happen for a couple of these accounts. So let me see. I'm just gonna put their account numbers down. I'm just gonna have to stop trading on their accounts for a while until we get this sorted out. Or I'm gonna have to do tester trades on their account before I actually add them to the list. Because I think so. This is what I think happened. A couple of these accounts had errors. So what happened is they didn't copy. So like it got pretty much everyone else. And then when it got to these errors, it kind of screwed up the other trades, other accounts that were trying to copy. So there's a couple accounts here that got like a small loss when they shouldn't have had a loss at all. Um, it's okay. We'll bounce back from it. I just, I had to figure out what the issue is here. This makes me want to move over to StoneX uh, even more now because of this problem. But it's okay. It's I'll get this sorted out shortly. And I'll show you guys my profits in a little bit. Or actually, I don't even know if I can show you guys my profits because these are like on different accounts here. Like I'd have to individually log into every single account to share them. Yeah, I'm just taking the list right now. It looks like there's about like five accounts that got affected, or not five accounts. There was about like three accounts that got affected, but five or three accounts that didn't execute. And then it ended up causing an error for the accounts that followed it because they all executed in an order. And what happened is it kind of held up the line. Like it copied all the accounts and then one error happened and then it held back the other account. So it was like, okay, we can't execute trades yet until we get this resolved. And it basically screwed all my prop accounts for the most part. Not a big loss, but small loss. A couple $100. All right, it's all good. Let me get that sorted out after. But if you guys caught that, looks like majority of you guys here did catch it. It's like Brock caught it, CJ caught it. Said I'm still in it. Your NT is scaring me. Um, Ark is asking is ES more accurate? It doesn't really matter. They're all the same. It just depends on what you want to use. iPhone said send the logs to Replicano person. He's so quick. I don't think it's an issue with Replicano. It's an issue with the specific accounts because some of them are set to liquidation only. Lamar said nice, caught that one with you on a new funding challenge. Nice work, Lamar. Rev got out of his. iPhone said two wins, one loss. Jesus says looks like his got stopped out. Yeah, you're one of them, Jesus, unfortunately. I'm gonna try to get yours sorted out. But yeah, yours looks like one of the counts that got stopped out, unfortunately. Yeah, that's my bad, bro. Unfortunately, you're one of the accounts that got kind of screwed, but we'll try to get that sorted out later. The rest of the accounts are fine though. Rev's out. Lots of great call. Patricia said, "Man, the slippage really sucks." Yeah, I agree with you, 100%, Patricia. BK got it. Justice said got kicked out with some of my trailing stop strategies, so smaller W, but still a dub. Jonathan got it. Emily got it. Brock's done for the day. Okay, solid work, guys. Looks like majority of guys here caught that trade. I'll put this trade here in the statistics so that we can have this here. I mean, the trade played out fine, but like, like what Patricia said, the slippage is well, I don't think it was just the slippage. I think it was the fact that we had the account blockage basically. It kind of screwed the rest of the accounts for the most part. Um, yeah, Patricia, I'm looking at your profits. You locked in 680. So yeah, or actually, let me see. Did your slippage even happen? Because you're doing three contracts, right? Or are you doing four times five times 40? Yeah, you did get some slippage. You're supposed to make 800 on that trade. You made 680. Nice work, Lila. 1,247. All right, great profits right there, Lila. Jonathan over here as well, locked in 1,553. All right, perfect, guys. Rev locked in 2,250. Drell over here locked in about 1,000 per account. It's about 5,000. Lila locked in 1,247. Nice work, guys. Pretty solid. Elad's asking, Sean, can you talk about considering buying a big account like 300K or multiple 50Ks? So the 300K, it's going to take you longer to pass. It's going to take you longer to pass. So I mean, it just kind of depends on your timeline. If you can kind of trade those for a while and then, it's going to take you maybe a couple weeks to pass versus a 50K, which you can pass within a week or so. It's just up to your preference, right? If you have the patience and the ability to kind of um, to to wait that long to pass, then it's more beneficial in the long run. But if you're looking for quicker payouts and quicker profit and whatever, then obviously it would be better to do the 50Ks. So it's up to you. It just depends on whether you want to get funded right away and get payouts right away, or if you're able to kind of keep trading for a couple more weeks to get that 300K pass. So long term wise, 300K is going to make more sense. Short term wise, 50K is going to make more sense because you can get that funded right away, and then get payouts right away. It's the main difference. It's just how long it takes for you to pass the account. Lila said, very appreciative of you, even though my hedge fund account is possessed. I know they said there's no problems with it, right, Lila? But for some reason it seems like there's problems. So I'll try to get that sorted. I mean, I'll try to figure it out. What I think I'm gonna do with your account, Lila, if you don't mind, is I'm probably gonna go on just separately and I'll just take like one tester trade on it to see if I get the error. If I get the error, then I'll let you know and you can contact NinjaTrader to get it sorted out. But it seems like you and Brett have the same issue that we tried to resolve before. And then we have one other person, Hector. He didn't have issues before, but I'm going to try to get that sorted out as well. But figure out. Elad said I'm asking because we're seeing a little challenge with Replicano handling 20 accounts. Um, are you having issues, Elad? Because I'm not having any issues with mine. The issue that I ran into today it wasn't a Replicano issue. It was more so the accounts kind of getting in the way of the other ones executing. So I don't know if you're getting issues with it, but I'm not. It's not specifically a Replicano issue. David said we're both possessed, I think. Um, yeah, I know, David. I feel really bad for yours, David, because you had like trades that should have hit, and unfortunately yours got cut short. But it's all good, David. I'm gonna hopefully we'll have some good wins this week, and you'll bounce back from that very quickly. I know you're the main account that I was looking at, and I was like, damn, I feel really bad for David because David was you were in profit. It was crazy because I was watching your account specifically, and you were pretty nice in profit. Let me see. So you're doing 15 times 5 times 20. Yeah, unfortunately, see, so you took the loss there, even though it should have been a win because your account got blocked. But I'll try to obviously we'll try to get some more wins as we progress this week, and hopefully you'll make that right back on the next trade, and then after that, hopefully we'll have a couple more wins to kind of just float you over back into profit. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna try to figure it out, and I'm gonna try to get over to StoneX as soon as possible, guys. I think this is a bigger reason for me to get over to StoneX so I don't have to use a third party platform. We can do everything in-house. But anyways, let me put the stats over here real quick. So the entry over here was at 655. And then I'll just take a screenshot of the accounts over here. You guys will see the issue that we ran into here with these. All right. So these are the accounts. I'm not going to bother posting the prop accounts because all the prop accounts had an issue with the the trade there. All right. So here are my accounts. So you guys will see, unfortunately, there's like a couple issues, or not issues, but a couple trades over here, which, or accounts, I guess you could say. So anyways, here are I mean, that's the trade that we took, and then you guys can see the accounts over here. Unfortunately, some of these, so there's a couple errors on these accounts right here. You can see majority of people here did make profit, but there's a couple people over here who had issues, like they had losses, but these shouldn't have been losses. It was just the trade executed like super off for these, unfortunately. I mean, you can see yours right here, David. I feel bad for your account. Yours is the one that got hit the most, base. Well, you got hit the most because you took bigger contracts, but for the most part, yours had the biggest kind of hit across all the other ones. Everyone else pretty much hit profit here, unfortunately, or fortunately, but unfortunately, everyone else made the profit, of course. But there was a lot of slippage here on the trade, or sort of. I mean, some people had slippage, some people didn't, of course. But yeah, that is currently where we're at right now. Okay, solid. Yeah, so David made some profit on that as well. Um, let's see, Michael's asking that what will happen with StoneX. No, with StoneX, we're going to be putting in block orders. So they're all going to be based off like one order, like one main entry that I'm taking on my account. So instead of taking like 80 separate entries, it's going to be one big order that's going to come in. So it's going to average out the price. So yeah, the issue probably it shouldn't be happening with StoneX because with StoneX, we're going to be entering one big position versus a bunch of smaller positions across. Yeah, exactly. It's just one big order, so all the entries are going to get filled, but they're not going to like you're not going to have issues here where like one kind of gets in the way of another account and then it doesn't execute. There's just going to be like one big order that comes in. So if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to hop into the chat. I'm gonna step away for 1 second. I'm just gonna grab my daughter. I can hear her making noise. Damn, I just realized it's like 8:16. Here's Alina. My daughter, yeah, 8 o'clock is like her time. So I gotta get off this live session, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, it's time for me to hang out with my daughter. She's on, it's crazy. Like she knows exactly when it's 8 o'clock. I could hear her making noise. And she's at that point where she's rolling around. So she's just rolling around the bed right now, waiting for me to come. Hey, Lena, say hi. Yeah, but anyways, guys, unfortunately, but for well, the trade hit, but unfortunately for a few people here, you guys saw the statistics. I feel bad for a lot of these people, unfortunately, that it happened, but we're going to get this resolved. Hopefully, we can get moved over to StoneX within the next week or so. I know I gave it a timeline of 2 to 3 weeks, but I'm going to try to get us over as soon as possible. Otherwise, if people want to take a pause on their account, meanwhile we can. But I gotta figure out like these accounts that are causing blockage on the copier uh, and then get that resolved. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. Yeah, CJ said she's wanting to play. And Cody wants his walk. I know that's exactly what's gonna happen right now. She's gonna go play for a bit and then head out with Cody Kai. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Again, if you guys took a loss on this trade, I'm very, very unfortunate, and I'm sorry that that happened. But we're gonna try to get this resolved so that for the next trades we can make it right back, and it won't happen again. So, all right, if there's any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. Again, these are the algo entries for the day. We had basically 5 wins, 0 losses for a 10R. The only trade I took right here was at 755, which hit right there. Unfortunately, some people got stopped out of that position, even though it did hit. It was just an execution error, it seems like. But all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.